Hello Milky friends, it is Milkstore here with you for another Idle Heroes video. It is Sunday night and I'm doing a very special video because my first journey has just finished and I thought it's important to share that with you and discuss my next steps. I think I've been one of the lucky ones and I've been one of the few that have finished my journey earlier than everyone else. And so this is the screen that you see at the end when you get into the adventure screen and your journey is finished. It gives you a summary of everything that you've collected along the way. So you're going to see the puppet, which is what everyone's interested in, as well as all the shit that you get from your cargo hold that you've either bought from the merchants or you've acquired through plunders and events along the way. So I've got 3,100 of these, which is nice. Anyway, the adventure's finished. So the key next step you're probably asking is, okay, so then what's next? So during this journey, I managed to get a special hidden journey. And this hidden journey obviously gives me a 9-star puppet, as well as more experience and more of these adventurers medals. And so it takes about 50 days and 10 hours to complete one of these. So the question now is, obviously, do I do another 6-star journey, which takes about 7 days all up, if you're lucky like I am, or slightly less than 7 days, or do I do the Dragon Abyss? And if you remember my last video, I basically said there are 2 adventure types you should do, right? One, the best adventure type you should do is the light dark 9-star adventure type, or the journey type, simply because on average you get more medals per day of journey, you get more experience per day of journey, and you get more, the equivalent of 5-star material when you break down the puppet into its constituent 5-star hero components. You get more of that per day compared to all the other journey types or adventure types you can do, right? So 0.56, 166.7, 416.7. But that assumes that your journey is going to be fueled by a ship that has equal speed or the same level of boiler, right? So if the boilers are the exact same and they're maxed out or they're both level 1, then absolutely you would always do the journey with the light dark 9-star puppet over the journey with over any other journey, basically. Because if you just look at these key metrics, you're just getting so much more in terms of medals, experience, and the equivalent of 5-star material in the form of a puppet per day of adventure sailed, assuming like you just do the adventures without any bonuses, or because the bonuses that you get in terms of what ships you can plunder and the speed ups, that's all randomized, right? So then the dilemma is this, right? Do you when there is the option to upgrade the boiler much quicker along the way compared to, say, if you just did the 14-day journey followed by the 50.4-day journey, or the journey with the 9-star light and dark puppet? Which one should I do? Because that's a lot of you are confronting that choice right now. Do I just do many short 14-day journeys, or do I do one great big journey as my second journey? And here's what the numbers say, right? So if you do a great big dirty journey after the one that you've currently done right now, at the end of the great big dirty journey, you can get the boiler to level 6, and you would have spent 64.4 days out at sea, assuming no speed ups, and you would have cumulatively gained 26,000 experience points, which is, like I said, enough to get your ship to about level 6 and therefore your boiler to level 6. On an experience per day basis, how much experience you've gained from sailing the ship, you've gained about 404. You get about 404 experience per day of adventure, right? Now you compare that with, say, if you just did a whole bunch of 14-day journeys. It's not going to be a whole bunch of 14-day journeys because you're going to be upgrading the boiler along the way from level 1, 2, 3, 5. So basically, after 4 14-day journeys, or 4 of the 6-star puppet journeys, your boiler is going to be at level 6, right? And you're going to have only spent 50 days on average, assuming no speed ups, compared to the 64.4 days it takes to get to level 6 boiler if you do a short and then a long journey, right? So it's much quicker. But let's say, okay, after 60 days, where are they at? You know, am I in the same spot after 60 days? Do I have the same number of experience? Because Milk Stew, the journey of the 9-star light dark puppet, you've just told me it's got 30% more 5-star material, 17% more medals, and 70% more experience per day sailed when compared with the 14-day journey. All things being equal, right? So here's the difference. After 60 days, even taking into account the fact that you get more stuff per day sailed, the fact that you can upgrade the ship so much faster along the way, it means that after about 60 days, you would have done about 5 short journeys, and you would have acquired 25,000 experience points, compared with if you went on the 64-day journey, you would have acquired what, like 26,000 cumulative experience points. Now, to compare it to apples, you really need to get to the experience. How much experience do you get per day? And so when you do the number of short journeys, it comes out at basically 419 experience per days of adventure, compared with 404 days per day of adventure. So even though the 9-star light dark puppet journey has significantly more, you get more experience per day sailed, the fact that you can upgrade your boiler much quicker supersedes, it's more of an advantage than the material advantages that you get just from having better rewards for that journey type. So the so what is basically, if you don't follow the math, just do a whole bunch of short 14-day journeys and upgrade your boilers much more, because it allows you to upgrade your boilers much quicker. And the fact that you can upgrade your boiler much quicker means you're getting more stuff, more regular rewards per day. And why is this important? This game is important because a lot of you think that, you know, this game is about lineups and strategizing and craftsmanship, about getting the right enables, getting the right artifacts, and all that kind of thing to beat another team, right? The reality is there's very little craftsmanship in this game. The enables that everyone picks, the configuration of artifacts and armor that heroes wear, that's all commonly known. Everyone uses the same thing. There is very little that you can do to gain a material advantage. And even in terms of lineup, if you come up with a funky new lineup, chances are it's going to be easily replicated and copied. The 3 sources of advantage in this game and how you can beat other players are the following. 1, it's just RNG. Like, some people just have better luck with orbs and scrolls. They're going to get more copies of certain heroes during key events, and they're going to be able to build those much faster than you. But because the luck is randomized and it's a computer and those odds never change really much over time, the reality is everyone's RNG is pretty much more or less going to be the same, right? So even though I say that's a key source of advantage, it's not really going to be, over the long term, a material source of advantage. The other source of advantage is obviously spending. If someone spends more than you, they're obviously going to be able to acquire more 9-star puppets, more scrolls, more prophet orbs, and convert those into food. And there's nothing you can do about that unless you spend as much as they do. The last source of advantage is the key decisions you make in at certain points throughout the game for key events and what you do at the start. So, like, for example, at the start, do you join a strong guild and, you know, you don't finish in the top 3 because the whales always smash the raid boss and get all the guild coins at the start? Or do you stay in a weak guild at the start and, you know, you finish in the top 3, you get more guild coins? You know, a decision like that. Do you, smash event raid every day because you read Reddit and you realize that was a good source of food, especially the hero side of things? That's a cheap source of food. Do you focus on Horus and get to Steel Land 18 faster compared with someone else? So simple things like that early on in the game, all the way through to things like this, in adventures like this, in the new Celestial Island. Do you decide to basically do a lot of short adventures, or do you decide at the start to do a short and then a long journey, right? these advantages build up over time, and it's the cause. It creates imbalances in the amount of resources you acquire over time, because resources is what drives. So the luck, the money, the decisions that you make all lead to you acquiring more resources than someone else who's made poor decisions over that same time. And that, believe it or not, that's the sole source of advantage in this game. It is not anything to do with strategy on lineup. Because, like I said, everyone knows what the enables are. Everyone knows how to run ADA, like the split artifacts. There's nothing you can do. Everyone knows it's about carry, 2 carries, 2 rooters, maybe Unimax, or 3 carries, Unimax. There's no one superior lineup. If there was, and it was easy to get, everyone would just copy it. The way to win this game is in terms of acquiring more resources compared with someone else. And the only thing you can really make a decision on, not knowing what your spend level is, right? Whether you're a free-to-play player, or even leaving that aside, because you're never going to be able to beat someone that spends a lot more money than you, right? So leaving that aside. So if RNG is fixed because over the long run, everyone has the same luck, it's assuming spending is also fixed for you, right? So you're basically battling other players who basically spend the same amount of money as you. Then really the only thing that you can beat someone else on is the key decisions that you make in pivotal points in the history, in the life that you have with this game. It's the same with life in general, right? How much attention you pay in primary school, what your parents have exposed to you as a child, whether they put you through like sports, music, the friends that you pick, the schools that you go to, the field of education you choose to pursue. These things at the start of your life have a cumulative advantage over time to give you a superior advantage when you get to 20s and your 30s and even your 40s and later throughout your life. And it's the same with money. The key financial decisions you make at the start of your life, when compounded, will have a big impact at the end of your life. It's the same for this game. And, a lot of you need to realize that. So the big so what is, having said all that, is I believe if you do a lot of short adventures, as tempting as it is to do this 9-star light dark puppet adventure, because you get so many more experience compared to, say, everything else, right? It's far better to do the 14-day journeys and upgrade your boiler as quickly as possible, because the advantage that you'll gain is far superior to doing the short and then the long adventure, right? It's not the biggest advantage in the world. Like over the long run, it might not make much of a difference, but the reality is it's small advantage like this, like I said, that compound over time, that'll give you, enough of these small decisions where you just gain this little incremental edge, means one day, if you play it long enough, over 3 years, the impact of these decisions you've made means you may have one more 5-star E5 hero compared with someone else who is on the exact same spend level as you are. I know that was a long, very long spiel, but I'm going to do this adventure. I'm going to get it started, and I just want to confirm whether or not we're going to see the anchors reset to 10. Because if they reset to 10, right, once you finish adventure, you don't want to leave it hanging for too long. You want to kick that next adventure off as quickly as possible to maximize the metric of number of goodies that you get per day of adventure. So I will actually do this live. I know a lot of you made the mistake of not setting a monster. Just take your time. So we're going to do you, carry, Ruda, carry, Ada. We'll just switch you. Not that it really matters. We'll do you, and that's my best lineup, right? So then we'll do, who are we going to do after? We'll do you, and you, and that'll be my second best lineup. So if you see my ship, my auxiliary system will be the weakest team, so feel free to attack that. Then the final team we don't really care about. So the monsters, we obviously wanted to go with Phoenix number 1, Deer number 2, and then Dragon number 3. So Phoenix, double check. number 1, DN number 2. And this team should be strong enough. And to save myself gems, what I might actually do is... You know what? Let's just keep it like this. The only reason why I don't want to change my power system team and keep that the strongest is because I think other whales will keep the power system as their strongest team. And so if they attack me, I think they're going to go for the power system as well because their power system will have their strongest team. And so in order to save gems from being attacked, I think I will just stick with the power system being the strongest team. Just because people are lazy. So if we then go to battle, yes, lineup cannot change. Let's confirm that. And there we go. See? So it's confirmed. We get 10 anchors straight off, and we just want to get this going as quickly as possible. So we want to rescue. Because once... Yeah. Okay, we can skip that. Because once this anchor hits 10, guys, the timer to get the next stamina, it just basically stops. You basically, when this hits 9, when the number of anchors you get or stamina hits 9, you just want to keep going. You want to use them all up until it gets to 9. You don't want to wait until it gets to 10. Only when it gets to 9. So if we keep exploring, next adventure, let's just hope we get a more... We don't want shipwrecks. That's voidstones are useless. Rescue, yep. So this is good. Already we're getting the advantages that we want in terms of increasing the progress. So challenge, yep, that's fine. Get goodies, we don't want that. If we can get another speed up, that would be good. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, shipwrecks. I hate shipwrecks. Oh, come on, we just want more speed ups. We want to attack other ships. We want to find, here we go, plunder, yep. Weapon, power system, yep. We want to find other ships. We want to find shipwrecks and help them out. There we go. Not a strong team. We can win that. No problem. Last one. Challenge. I don't really want the loot. Don't need the loot. Anyway, so that's the next adventure. So hope you found that video useful. I'll put the spreadsheet up on the link below, and then you can go through it in detail. And if you're still confused, you can just give me a shout out, and I'll try and explain it more slowly. But the takeaway is, I think it's a lot better to do the 6-star puppet journeys than it is to do a 6-star and then a 9-star if you're lucky enough to get a 9-star. Also, if you finish your adventure, make sure you start the next one off as quickly as possible because the stamina, the anchors reset, and you don't want to leave that running for too long because this is an excellent source of gems in this game. A lot of people don't realize that. Not excellent source of gems, but excellent source of resources just overall. And so you want to maximize how often that ship is sailing. It's like utilization. You don't actually want the ship to ever stop sailing. You want to keep it going. Anyway, guys, hope you found that video useful. Hope you have a great week ahead. Thanks for watching.